Okay, I'm okay. I think our recording has started. So I'll just quickly recap what I was saying. So my slides, if you see, are only for pointers for us, but we'll do a lot of discussion since reaching the learning experience design outcomes, which is course material or delivery, is a thinking process, and there is a lot of brainstorming needed and discussion needed. So I have kept some artifacts. It was slightly difficult for me to have all the artifacts right from the analysis phase to the final phase, but I have included some of the artifacts so that it gives us some pointers, which I had customized for this presentation. Allow me to share my screen. I am trying to share my entire screen because there are, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me see if this works because, okay, fine. Because I have embedded some links in between. That's why I was trying to share the entire screen. But in case if you're not able to see those screens, I will re-share those because I've embedded some links as an examples. So simple, yeah. Are you able to see it properly, or my windows are going everywhere?
No, no, Madhuri, it's
Yeah,
clear.
I can see it.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
trying to,
clear.
keep those panels everywhere. So it's a crafting effective learning experience design journey from problem to solution. When I say this, that means what is it that we are trying to do from learning experience design? It can't be from through our whimsies and fancies. Okay, I want gamification, I want story-based learning, I want experiential learning. I always say that even if we write a single line, it needs to have a purpose. It needs to meet the purpose, and that is what together we'll try to explore. The agenda for this is simple. I will move from the basics of learning experience design because even sometimes there are a lot of confusions that happen in the definitions or the understanding of it. And I will try to keep it extremely simple. So I will touch upon those basics, but I will not waste too much time on the theory part of it. We'll discuss a lot about some of the things I have included in my deck. Some of the things I will talk through my experiences, the kind of case studies that we have come across from different industries, and you are open to use yes. Someone was saying something, and you are open to ask me any query. Use the chat feature very well. Probably one of you can volunteer me for the questions in the chat or the answers in the chat. Are you ready? Somebody can volunteer to say yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
please.
let's start with a quick rapid fire.
Yes.
We'll start with a quick rapid fire. Experience is about connecting with your emotions. If you say yes, if you feel yes, say a yes. If you say no in the chat window. You have half a minute. Quick. I see responses coming in. Great. Thank you. Yeah. The number is ticking on the chat. Great. Okay. So I will move to the next. So I think I have some answers. I'm not seeing it, but I will just open some of it. Yes. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Thank you. So let's move ahead. If someone connects with your emotions, you feel more engaged and motivated to engage further or take an action. It can be anything. It can be a personal connect, a professional connect. If you think yes, type yes. If you think no, say no.
Madhuri, sorry to interrupt. Your previous question, no?
Mhm.
Uh, what what was the question and what was the? I did not actually get the
No problem. I
question.
will just take it there. Experience is about connecting with your emotions. Like
Okay.
how you feel that how you get an experience, you know.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Next
Fine. I get
is
it.
I'm saying, let's say you and I are there. If I'm able to connect with you at an emotional level, you will feel more engaged and motivated even to talk with me or engage further. Or let's say I have an action for you, or probably even get motivated to do that action. So if you feel yes, say yes. If you feel no, say no. Okay.
Answer. Yes.
Answers. Okay. I think there are a lot of yeses. Okay, let's go ahead. People respond less to instructions and more to what they experience. And towards the end, if time permits, there is one very good case study of a very big uh, enterprise technology company, which is like the number one in the world. And this one line actually made them create an entire course. So I have not mentioned it in the deck, but I will talk about it if time permits. Okay, let's move ahead. The fourth one is to connect with someone emotionally, you need to understand that person as much as you can. Yes or no? Thank you. I'll go ahead. Now, all this that we said, do you think, like, many times we are told in the corporate, no emotions. I disagree, but, a lot of other discussions are there, but I will not go there. Do you think it is possible in a professional setup? That means knowing someone well, able to connect with them. I think many of us are leaders over here and they will resonate with what I'm saying. So, do you think it is possible in a professional setup, that is, understanding someone and being able to build emotional connects with them? If you think yes, yes. If you think no, no. Okay. Okay. Interesting answers. We have no, we have maybe, we have possible, but don't. Okay. That's wonderful. Now, before I move ahead, uh, I somehow feel when we say emotions, we have lot of things added to it. But when I say emotions, it means what the person with whom you're dealing with, who that person actually is. What are his priorities? What are his how does he think? In what environment or what constraints he or she is working? What he feels in general situation. Like, some people don't like to be in a conflicting situation, and they will just take a step back. And if that person is in your team, we need to know that, yeah, this is that person's priority, and probably deal with that person, or I would not say deal, but interact with that person, keeping in mind the person's preferences in social interaction, or maybe other things. So this I was talking about generally. Same thing applies to learning. Let's move ahead. Okay, this slide has a lot of things, but let me quickly show you what it says. What do we do while generating experience for someone? Now I have this. I am a mix of text and visual person. So this is a small diagram, but I have used extremely simple diagrams. So there is this at the center. There is an individual, and then I have just correlated it with the group. These arrows means everything that we do with that person, whether it's interactions, actions, or the setup in which we are meeting that person, or mm, whatever whatever relation you have with that person, professional. Like, let's say, for example, you are selling a product to that person, or let's say the person is your team member whom you have to motivate to take an action so that they can complete the work that you have a vision for. Anything and everything that can be, there is always a way to get it done, influence them to take action, influence them to, engage with you. If we keep them at the center and, you know have our conversation, have our interaction, anything that we do with them, around them, we customize it for them. And that was a generic definition. How does it apply to learning? So I've given some examples, which are the words you all must have heard a lot. Customer centric approach, user centric approach, learner centric, and similarly from the same thing is derived learner centric approach. These words you must have heard, but I wanted to touch upon them. When I say customer centric approach, this is related to customer experience, the sales world. When I say user centric approach, mainly it comes from the UX design, user experience design. And then when I say learner centric approach, definitely it comes from the learning world. And again, it comes from learning experience design. And now you will ask, okay, fine, how I do it. So, how I understand a person, sit with the person, have coffee, have tea every day? No, not needed. There are various professional ways of doing it. So at the right hand side, you see pretty explanatory. I will not deep dive much into it because I have created a survey for you, a simple survey which says how to get learning profile. So learner profile. So we get over there. Now, how do we understand our customers well? We create a customer profiling, and there are methods to create a customer profiling, which we will go ahead. Similarly, when we have to understand our users, users of our product, users of our website, users of our platforms, our mobile apps, now the world is, full of AI. So even if it is an AI technology, and there is a certain we need to understand who's the user, and then for that we need to do user profiling. We need to understand our user, and similarly, from these concepts, majorly from the user experience design comes understand our learners well. Because if I'm not understanding my learner well, what I'm going to create for the learner? Yes, somebody can volunteer and say yes or no if they have to say something about it. Am I making sense? Is it becoming too basic? Okay,
Oh, I think we do understand what you're saying. Absolutely.
yeah. And then now let me quickly go to when I talk about learner profiling, this leads me to learning experience design. Simple. Now, learning experience design, as I earlier said, it's a learner centric. Now, you will say, were we not doing things in a learner centric way till now? Instructional design has been there around since ages now. But the focus of the traditional approach was mainly content centric. Now, synonymously, people use the words instructional design, learning experience design, but there is a slight difference between it. As you see, instructional design is a subset of learning experience design, actually, by definition and by concept. And there are a lot of other things, like even in instructional design, we used to talk about educational psychology, but mainly the focus was instructional material. you know. Later on, the instructional design, even those who have the instructional design tags, and they may not use learning experience design, but the mindset has changed from being content creation entity, I would say entity as a department, to actually widening their sphere and thinking ahead. When I say thinking ahead is, okay, what is my content doing? What is it supposed to do? Earlier, it was like, what are the content types? What are the preferences? There was some science involved, but there were certain limitations because with time, people are becoming more and more experience oriented. What I feel, how I'm feeling by taking this training, is this contextual to me? Is this relevant to me? Is it suitable for me? I don't have a, like, for a particular sales staff, the sales staff doesn't have access, like those who are working in retail, doesn't have access to a web, that is a computer, throughout the day. They're always on their feet in the store, attending the customers. There's only one computer in the store, and that also, is used for other purposes, operational purposes like billing and other thing. A POS machine is added to it. So hardly the store staff has access to web. So when I say learning environment, so the learner will say, okay, you are giving me a lot of training on the web, but when I'm going to access it, most of these people are people of a certain age group, 18 to maybe 30, within 30, or probably less than that 25, the junior sales staff I'm talking about. And many of them don't have access to computer at home. Also they may not have that much time or inclination to go ahead and access it on the computer. If we are making the learning environment really, really difficult for them, so, as a learning experience designer, I need to understand in which environment my learner is. If my learner is a field staff, again, second of this, if my learner is a field staff and has to perform on a field, and if and the learner is getting incentive for the day-to-day job, if I'm pulling that learner out of the one-day work, I am probably affecting his incentive, day-to-day incentive. So then, and plus, everything need not be in the classroom. They also need something on the go. Okay. So then that is where the thinking hat comes in, and the learning experience designer has to think, what environment should I, what is the environment my learner is working in, and what is the environment I have to put the learner into so that they can learn efficiently and they can feel engaged, motivated, and the learning process continues. It doesn't get stopped. I was working in a retail company, and people said, okay, we have ILT sessions 5 days at some nice posh hotel conference halls. People are excited. After the training, there is the good feedback, but there is no, I would say, you know, no outcome after certain days. It's not seen in their job. Some people do show it, but the expectation that was there from the learners is not seen. So this is just, while talking, I'll be also using these experiences that I had with me, and that's where this learning environment comes into picture. And then I'll come to cognitive psychology later. Instruction design and user experience design. Learning experience design is a combination of the two. So the best things about instruction design: systematic approach, scientific approach, a focus on the content creation, following a systematic process for the entire content creation. That all is good, and all the theories, models that are applicable to instruction design, good. But there is something which is good in user experience design, user centric design. When I'm designing how my user is going to respond, design principles respond to that design. Is my design being cluttered? Are the design colors going to resonate with the learner? Are the learners, and the layout of my e-learning? I'm talking about e-learning, for example. The layout of my training, the layout of the platform that I have, is it easily accessible to them? So basically, our graphic design, the visual elements, the platform elements need to need to follow these principles by keeping our learners at the center, because it's not just about content, about getting the learning objective right, about getting the course structure right, about making the content contextual, relevant. Even the design and the platforms where they are accessing needs to be user friendly. And that's why and when I say that, that adds another layer to a learning experience designers list. That is, they need to have good sense of graphic design and learning platforms. Earlier instructional designer also used to know that, but the depth at which the learning experience designer needs to know is a lot. And at one step level ahead, many of the good learning experience designers in the world, they are hands-on with instructional design, graphic design, and e-learning development. as well, because that is a core skill that helps them to give a overall good experience, especially if somebody is independent, somebody is a freelancer, a contractual worker. A lot of people, build these minimum three-level skills to give a good learning experience. And then cognitive psychology. It talks about having insight into the cognitive process of the learning. When I say cognitive process, what is my learner thinking? What is the inclination of my learner? You know, how is my learner perceiving certain things? What is it that motivates my learner? What are the key drivers I have to use if I have to engage my learner? What are the choices of the learner when it comes to learning style preferences? What are the choices of the learner when it comes to learning modalities? So basically, cognitive psychology is more about understanding. I would use the word intangible things, or we were talking about emotions. That helps us to connect to the emotion. Now, how is a question which we'll talk later. Any questions till now? Is the speed of the session okay?
Yes, please. All good.
Okay. uh, and then I will just go ahead. Now, we talked about learning experience designer. Now, I'm a learning experience designer and I like to feel important. So I asked myself, what is that I can influence? What is the power that I have as a learning experience designer? And I think every learning experience designer, and I would not say learning experience designer is the only person who does instructional designing has experience in instructional designing. Basically, all the trainers who create their own material are in some way learning experience designer, learning content creators, which also means learning experience. They have to use learning experience design. So there's a question that I asked myself, and that's why I said, added this little slide. What does it mean? Now you see this, you know, yes, somebody wants to say something? Okay. So as a learning experience designer, I or any learning experience designer has a tremendous part only by focusing on learners or making the things learner centric. They can actually influence a huge level of uh, levels of output or outcomes. I would not say outputs, I would say outcomes. And that is now learners, learner is a part of a department. Department is a part of organization, and every organization is part of an industry segment where the organization has looks for more and more profit share in that industry segment. That is, and definitely when a business gives a goal, the
Madam,
business.
can I intervene for a minute? My
Yes.
name is Radhakrishnan. I'm one of the learners, I would say. And I was just going through your talk. Very interesting talk you are giving. But when you talk about learning experience, are you talking about a skill-based learning or a behavioral learning?
So at present, I'm talking about a generic learning experience, whether it's skill, behavior, or any kind of learning. Because the strategy that we will use for the designing of it, that is the entire learning experience design, will be slightly different. So I will quickly, pause in whatever I'm saying and answer your question. Like I'll give you an example. If we are doing a knowledge and comprehension level, is our expectation that our learners need to remember something, our learner needs to have comprehension, and we also want the learners influence the learners to change some behaviors. Then our approach to influence our learner will change. We'll have to use a different strategy because every learning experience design is a part of strategy, learning strategy as well. Um, so our strategy will differ. A strategy will be a combination of, let's say, maybe a blended learning or hybrid learning using different modalities where we are giving a holistic or a comprehensive experience to our learners so that they have they are put into different setups. And that's where the learning experience designers, when they work on learning strategy, there are different levels at which they identify their learning outcomes, and that is where they plan the entire strategy. It is not just e-learning, it is not just classroom training. We have to actually understand what the learner is, what the learner has to achieve for the department, what is the goal of the department that the department wants to achieve through their learners, and what is the organization goal that the organization wants to achieve through that department, and then where the organization wants to sit into the industry segment. Once we know all this, then our modalities will change, our approach for strategy will change. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So this was a little box in box strategy, image that I used just to explain that with learning experience design, if done properly, we actually have the power to influence this all these levels. And we earlier had a very good session on measurement matrix. That is where it comes in. So and the parameters, the success. When is it that my learner will be successful? When is it the department will be successful? When is it that the organization will be successful within that industry segment? This all needs to be laid down in the success criteria, and then our solution or our approach maps to that. Yeah, that's why this diagram. Now, this I always love to say. I mean, whenever I say what are the tasks that I do, what are the work I do, some of the people feel I do too many things. Or whenever any other learning experience designer says, okay, I do this, people feel they are doing multitasking. But the point is, the entire process of learning experience design has a string of activities. I've just highlighted, the top level, which are all connected, and that's why this list, like conduct. The only thing is, when we work in an organization, many a times this is not done by one member. When I talk about instructional designer, I'm talking about the entire team. Because what happens when we work on a project, practically it becomes difficult for one person to do everything. So a group of people who have similar goals, common agenda to make a project successful, distribute the responsibilities. Like there'll be a group who will look into, needs assessment, doing the discovery with key stakeholders. Let's say if we are doing it for external client, then doing interviews with the stakeholders, doing interviews with the subject matter experts, doing learner profiling, and then they'll come up with a strategy. Then there'll be in the same team there'll be another group who would say, hey, you have done it. Now the strategy person will pass on the baton to the other team member, and that team member will take it ahead for designing, developing, implementation. Implementation, again, we can have a core team who helps in implementation. If it is an in-house implementation, then in-house, or if we have to support it for a client, then the client. But learning experience design as a process includes a whole lot of activities. Okay. I can quickly read out some of the things. It's like needs assessment, work with stakeholders, subject matter, which I already covered. Then create learner personas, empathy maps. Empathy maps, if you're using design thinking principles. Learner personas also can be, called as learner profiles. Then design learning journeys. We have our learner profiles, whether it's for a role that is a group, or whether it's for individual basis that, we create learning journeys where, Mr. Radhakrishnan, you had asked a question. The learning journey can be, blended, hybrid, only e-learning, only classroom, only virtual, but completely depends upon what is the need, what is the problem we are trying to solve through the learner. What is the business problem we are trying to solve through the learner who's taking the course? Then again, I've already discussed apply user, because we need to have some idea about user experience design principles. Of course, learning theories, frameworks, content development, learning materials. It includes storyboarding. It includes visual design by graphic design. It includes e-learning development, if it is e-learning. If it is instructor-led training, then we usually don't use authoring tool, usually, unless and until we are using some online assessments. But then there are instructional material, there is facilitator material, participant guides, handouts, and if it is a virtual, again, a virtual session deck, then we have material, handouts, breakout room sessions. So all that material is prepared. Learning experience designers just don't do e-learning. They do all kinds of modalities, and it will fall in this bracket. It's just that the output is different for different modalities. Then whether it's AR, VR, AI, authoring tools, learning platforms, some of the instructional, I said, good instructional designers will have hands-on experience, at least on one tool or two tools, and some at least have in-depth knowledge so that they can suggest those things to their client, or they can use it in their design, in their strategy, uh, and they know what will work or what will not work. Okay. Collaborate with cross-functional teams, extremely important. One skill is extremely important is collaboration. Collaboration with the client, collaboration with the subject matter expert, collaboration with internal stakeholders, leadership, senior management, and then cross-functional teams. Because learning experience design has different art. I always say it's a combination of art and science. So there are different departments. One is the writer community, who has eventually, upgraded themselves. I would say, extended their skills into instructional design, combining the creativity, visualization, writing, psychology, and that is one team. Another team who are like, in our world we call them directors. If it is e-learning, then e-learning directors. If it is any other content, then content directors. And then we have graphic design team who make who help the vision, who give visuals to the ideas that they have put together. And then we have e-learning development team who puts together, who uses different softwares, authoring tools, or sometimes, coding to make the e-learning possible. If it is e-learning, if it is any other modality, then the major share will be that department. Like if it is ILT material, the major work is done by instructional designer, the learning experience designer, and second, it's done by the graphic team. And then all these three departments, that can be one person as well, if the learning experience designer has expertise in all the three capabilities. A lot of companies, corporate houses, they have one person who does everything. Even I was in one company, a software company, where a system was given to me, and it had a tool, and I was instructional designer. I had to use the tool. I had to use some design tools, that graphic design tools, and create my own course. So one person, that was long back. One person does everything. So that is also a norm that many companies have, that they just take one person who's called learning experience designer who has expertise in all three things. I'll quickly go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is, oops, the list is lengthy, but that's how it is. So this is just, I thought, lot of talk, a little this. At this point, I will stop and ask if there is any question before we move ahead. Any questions?
No questions, please.
Yes. And while here I will stop and add one more thing. This image that you're seeing, I purposely, I have my graphic design, an extremely in my own startup, an extremely capable graphic design team who can. I will show you one video that as a content example, and you will get to know their skills. But still, we purposely use the AI tool to generate this image, giving a prompt, and this is an image generated by AI tool, DALI. And there was a reason why I used, because I thought while we are talking, I can also talk about the use of AI. But then, there is always a caution. A lot of people think AI is magic. I say no. I have used AI myself. It is just a tool. And there are a lot of bottlenecks. If you have to use a standalone image like this, it works well. a depictive image or something. But if you have to use an entire string of images where you have to ensure the consistency in the actions, the consistency in the composition of the images, AI will drive you crazy at times. So definitely, even if we use AI for any kind of, when I say content, it's not just writing, it involves everything. It involves graphic design as well. So whenever we are creating any content, especially learning content, and even if we use AI, we'll not be able to use it properly if the basics are not clear, or if that person who's using the AI tool doesn't have certain expertise to make informed decisions or wise decisions. Else, we'll end up making all mess. But I wanted to purposely use this image. While we go, I can say that this is where AI is being used. Okay. Any questions? Somebody, Uday sir is there. Okay, I'll just move ahead. Now we saw the huge list, and yes, it's a lengthy list. There must be some items which are still missing, but in a nutshell, it can be concised like this. What is the key focus or scope of work of learning experience design? Strategy, content, and technology. When I say content, it involves instructional design work, graphic design work, and even development work. And when I say technology, it involves authoring tools. They can be e-learning authoring tools. It involves video creation tools. It involves video screen recording tools, video recording tools. It involves DIY tools like Beyond. It involves animation tools like After Effects, Adobe Animate, and other tools. It also involves LMS, LXP, and now with AI, it also involves AI-driven tools like platforms which have AI analytics, like LXPs, learning experience platforms which have AI analytics. Docebo is there, Degreed is there. We also have our own platform, but about that some other day. And then we, in the sense, the company that I am in at the moment, that is why our company. And then there are also a lot of e-learning companies, or I would say AI-driven platforms, which are coming up with generative AI-based simulation creation platforms, or skill-based learning platforms, even though they are in the market at the moment, but still they are not in a position to replace human being. As I said earlier, you need an expert to make informed decisions, because I have myself tried these tools, and it becomes a mess if a person who's not experienced uses it. So added to that is also all the AI-driven tools that we have, whether it's for content generation, whether it's for analytics, whether it is for video generation. Like there are tools like Synthesia, which generates uh, video in the sense it generates narrators. Like I don't have a narrator here, it generates narrators. A few years back, we had used in one of the courses for which we had won a Brandon Hall, but that was for some another company, so I can't give an example because I will be violating NDA. But I can talk about the case. So there are video generation, audio generation. Apart from all that, so all that thing can come under the technology, whether it's AI, no AI. So that is the technology part. Content I cover. Now strategy. Strategy covers the entire learning strategy. Learning strategy is a broader spectrum which will have everything. It will talk about, it will cover business need, it will cover the design approach, it will cover the delivery approach in detail, it will cover the change management approach and communication that needs to be done. Because any new thing that we are bringing in any organization, it does have a change effect, and we do need to communicate it to the learners or the employees, so that they are aware what is coming for them, and what is the plan for them. Many a times organizations fail if they don't include change management in their learning strategy plan. And it also includes measurement benefits, That is again measurable outcomes. What is it that we are going to assess? What kind of outputs, whether you are using and at all levels, learner level, department level, organization level, business meeting business goals, so all that. A good strategy needs to include all that. If it is missing, then something is missing. So, and then there is a science to arrive at that. That how do we arrive at strategy? There are various methods which we follow. There can be surveys. We'll just move ahead and see that, which helps us to come to the strategy. And that's why I said, in a nutshell, the three things, at least the learning experience design covers is strategy, content, and technology. Any question till now? Okay, I'll go ahead.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
Ramanathan here.
Hi.
So what are the authoring tools you use?
For the e-learning?
Yes.
Okay. So there are several authoring tools. There is Articulate Suite, Articulate Storyline, Articulate Rise, there is Adobe Captivate, there is HTML development, there is Lectora, and there are a lot of other things. I just listed some of the popular ones. So mainly a lot of training happens in Articulate Storyline, Articulate Captivate. So, and each of the tools have their own pluses.
Is this
and
authoring?
what about for video? And what about the video creation?
So video creation, again, you can have a lot of other tools. There are DIY tools, but the DIY tools has limitations. Like we are on Powtoon, it will always have limitations. But if you ask us, we use Adobe Animate and After Effects, which needs
Okay, good. Thank you.
Higher level of skills. But yeah, we use Adobe Animate and After Effects many a time.
Is this authoring tools applicable for LXD also?
In the sense, I'm sorry.
For e-learning, these authoring tools are used for e-learning. But for learning experience design, that is experiential learning, these same authoring tools can be applicable, or?
Yes.
Because VR and immersive learning also comes into picture in this.
So when I say LXD is learning experience design. When I say experiential learning, immersive learning, it's an approach. So basically, what does LXD cover? LXD covers, in our e-learning world, we call levels of design. Level 1 design is like page turner. Level 2 designs are like interactive courses where you have tab interactivity, click here, click there, and some form of interactivity, some little higher form of interactivities as well, image-based things. And then I will not go. Then there is level 3, level 4, but I'll not go level 3, level 4. I'll just explain you what all approaches are there. Then you have scenario-based learning. You have gamification. You have other experience learning like AR, VR-based courses. E-learning. So basically, learning experience design is an umbrella. It's a science, I would say, art and science. And under that, these are different approaches. Now, what we are discussing today is what are the points that make us take a decision that, hey, I have to use gamification for this course. I have to use AR, VR for this particular course. No, I just have to use instructor-led classroom training for this. I have to use virtual-led training for this. So these are the decision points, not just made, okay, I want to do this, but it has to fall into the science, that is, what is it that will work for the learners? What is it that will work for the learners and it will give us output so that ultimately we meet the business goal? Have I answered your question?
Yeah, got it. Thanks a lot.
And if I have to talk about tool, yes, in my experience, we have created gamification. Every tool has a limitation, pros and cons, I would say. And no tool is a magic. Whether it's AI or any other tool, it's a skill. A person needs to master that tool so that they can work through the limitations as well. And that's what so the team that I have, they have certain mastery. And we have also created gamifications in Articulate Storyline. And we have also, there is one of my team members, she's my co-founder, she had also created gamification in PowerPoint. So it's any tool. You can do a lot of things, but again, you need to know how to use that tool skillfully. Okay.
Yeah, right. Got it. Thanks a lot for your.
And that's the level. There is a beginner level, there is advanced, the levels which we have for skills. It's the same level that we have for technology.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I will
Got it.
quickly go to the LXD models. I will quickly check the time. Okay. Now, there are several LXD models, and we can't say this is good, this is bad. Several of them, I always tell people use that which you are comfortable with. Like somebody would come and say, hey, the agile learning design is good. But I always prefer to use something which somebody is comfortable with, and then add some elements from other designers. It can be done. I will also explain in ADDIE how it can be done. So these are some of the things that I have listed. And there are some, I will not read out the slide. Sam, design thinking is more on the empathy aspect of understanding the learner. It again comes from user experience design world, and then it has been applied to LXD. SAM and Agile Learning Design mainly focuses on the iterative process. But even in the modified AD, we can use iterative process. Like we use prototyping, and then we can do the prototyping, test it, and refine the refine the designing aspect of it. So it can be adapted, but these are the processes that usually are there. But what we will do is for today's presentation, we'll stick to ADI. There is a reason. It's popular. A lot of people use it, and it's easy. At least for me, if I say, it's easy to explain ADI to a majority of the audience. Like I have worked into service providing companies, so when we talk in terms of ADI, it becomes easier to explain things. While we can use good things from other processes and incorporate into the process, it's not hard and fast rule that you have to stick to it, but it's easier to go through ADDIE. That's why I'll talk about ADDIE. Simple. Now, what are the activities? I'll be quick over here because a lot of people know. What are the usual things we do? We do needs analysis, and I always talk when I say analysis. In my mind, I always distribute into discovery and analysis part. So needs analysis, learner analysis, all the analysis part, we do it in the analysis. All the things that I talked about, the environment, existing material. What is it that's existing in a company today? Is it reusable? How we will understand the gaps, whether it's in content, whether it's in skill, whether it's in the entire competency, unless and until we analyze the existing resources, whether it's content, whether it's the skills available in the company, whether it's the training available in the company, whether it's tools available in the company. And that's why this is also a part of analysis. Environment analysis, I already spoke about it, what is environment analysis. And then learner analysis, I will have some example around it, and then needs analysis. Basically identifying the needs, business need, what is it that we're trying to solve, and from that, we get some things which I'll quickly show. And then design, again, in design, you do course structure outline, instructional strategy, assessment strategy, storyboard. Now, there'll be some people who will contest with me, especially from my world, that no, storyboarding is a part of development. But storyboarding is an overlapping, process, because if storyboard serves the purpose of a blueprint, earlier when the storyboarding thing starts in the design phase, but the actual thing that happens on the floor, it ends into the development phase, because storyboard has detailed content that goes into a course, and that's why it falls under this content creation bucket. Okay, but nevertheless, for the bigger picture, that is the main course that we are developing, it is a blueprint. And that's why I have included into the design. Even the popular definitions, you will see it is in the design. But actually, it has an overlapping. And then in development, as the name suggests, content creation, which includes everything, multimedia development also, along with instructional design and content part, that is graphic, video, e-learning development, and everything. And then implementation is deployment or delivery. I just bifurcated it just so that, so the ease of understanding. When I say deployment, if it is a self-paced learning, e-learning, online learning, or even if you are uploading a video, let's say you have a generic YouTube channel and you're uploading a learning video on a YouTube platform. Even then, it's we are delivering it, right? But the method is a platform, and then delivery. So basically, the entire thing is delivery. But delivery can also include classroom training delivery. So most of the trainers who deliver, like a request comes to you that I want to conduct a session on managing conflict. So then this is the stage you are that they have already done that. Okay, this is the need that they have. They want someone to deliver the content. Sometimes they can ask the trainer, you deliver your own content. Sometimes they will engage facilitators saying, we have all the material, you have to facilitate it. But definitely they need some certain level of expertise. So, or it can be virtual led training as well. So that falls here. And then change management plan. As I said earlier, change management plan gets missed in several situations, but it shouldn't be missed, especially if the training is on facilitating some change. Like for example, if a company is using SAP old version and they have customized their entire SAP into an upgraded version, and now they want to train their employees on the newer version of SAP, that is a technology change that they have done. So there is entire change management plan that needs to be rolled out, because the customized version will have different things. We are changing the entire system. It will also change how we are, let's say, for example, let's say a company is using SAP also for performance management, also for, the success factor module for LMS, then it's going to affect everything. So it's a huge change. And unless and until the change management plan is there, it's not communicated, the entire activity is not going to give us proper results, because there will be some gap in communication, some resistance somewhere. And then evaluation, which again is for measurement metrics. So basically, success criteria is defined in the analysis and the design, between analysis and design phase, where the learning strategy happens. And then we have our goal. In the evaluation phase, there are various methods we collect feedback. We use Kirkpatrick-Phillips model. We collect feedback at a learner level, then at assessment level, then we go higher and higher. And then we also assess the learning outcomes. Like let's say if and the learning outcomes have various parameters. I will show a case study and then that also needs to be evaluated with respect to the success criteria that we had set at the start of the journey, this entire problem solving journey. And that's how we'll be confidently saying that I have solved a problem. Many a times what happens is the success criteria is not set properly. So we are just creating courses and we don't know what success will look like. So in the evaluation phase, what happens is there is no measurable parameter to say, yes, I have been successful, or yes, I have been partially successful, or I have 100% failed in this entire intervention. Because we have not set the success criteria, we have not set where the, sorry, what are the measurement parameters that we have to look into? We have to look into the financial data of the company to see whether there was profit or not after the training. Are we checking the LMS data to see what was the analytics of the entire intervention, or how many people have scored passed at one go, that is the first attempt. So all these parameters also need to be set when we define the criteria. Only then you will be able to say that I have solved a problem. Okay. Any questions till now? Because I've been talking for really long.
Madam, when you talk about evaluation of your entire learning experience, see, I had been heading a company's corporate training function where we had over 10,000 employees. Now, the biggest challenge was people come from different parts of the country, and we let us say we put them through a retail training program. They go back to their workplace. Now, if I have a measurable criteria that the sales has increased because of my training, the sales head will have 100 reasons to say that why sales has been has increased because of his efforts in driving the sales guy in the field.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about measurable criteria, it is always a challenge for the concerned training department to keep on justifying that the impact on business result has been contributed also to some extent by training. That is the biggest challenge which one faces, especially in large organizations, because even post training evaluation is a challenge, because the employee who has been trained is in some corner of the country, and his boss, for all for the purposes of training, he had sent him. Afterwards, post training, the evaluation is to be done by the people who are working around with
Mhm.
him,
Mhm.
and that becomes a very big challenge in large organizations,
I
especially with respect to capturing the behavioral changes in the individual.
I completely understand what you're saying, but that's where we have to keep using the science, and we have to make it as much as possible as rule driven. So I will not deep dive into it, but I will touch upon it. Now, for example, when you say behavior, there are tools, or even if say AI will really solve our problem if it is able to track the emotion. Okay, and it does. But again, that's a pretty vast topic to discuss, and it will digress from today's conversation. So I understand on floor the challenge is there, and you pointed out, right, you were bang on that. Yes, there are challenges, but that is the reason why we have to bring in as much objectivity, follow the right steps. We will not get 100% there, but when the journey starts, we have at least some objectivity, and it's a process. It once, because the process needs to start. Many times what happens is success criteria is not set. Training is done just like a tick mark. Okay, we have to do this training. Many a times it happens. I'm not saying it always happens. And then at the end, we don't have a clear vision as to what we have tracked. Yes, the credit may or may not come, but at least we can set the process. Okay. Because on floor challenges, you rightly said, are pretty different. Now, quickly here, discovery method for analysis, stakeholder interviews. Now, personal experience. Many a times when we say stakeholder interviews, from some of my experienced colleagues and some of the interviews that I did. Now, these stakeholders are business heads and people who are key stakeholders, decision makers. They hardly have time, and many times yes no answers or direct objective answers may not work with them, or will not give us good answers. We actually have to get involved with them in a one-on-one dialogue, make them comfortable, and be a student or a learner ourselves and talk to them and engage them into a conversation. This again is a consultative skill. Engage them into a conversation, understand their pain points, understand their vision. Like, just now, one of our, members shared, like just now, a problem was shared, the actual floor, 10,000 employees, this. Now, this is a pain point. So somebody has to actually understand these pain points, listen to it, whether it's business need, whether it's measurement matrix, that this, while I may have a lot of science, but there are actual problems on the floor. And these interviews are actually conversations. And from that, a learning experience designer, preferably an extremely senior person, extracts inputs. They are lengthy conversations. I know some of the interviews were like 10, 20 pages of content. And because there were multiple interviews, 2, 3 rounds, even though they don't have time, but sometimes you have to wait and get that. And from that, the data has to be extracted. That's why I've not included an example here, because in reality, it's never like I send a survey or I send an interview form or I ask some 10 questions and I get answered. It will not get that, because at an emotional level, at a pain point level, we have to understand the stakeholders' pains, because many of the things are intangible and not can't be objectified into yes no answers or objective answers. You need to get involved into a focus groups. Again, we have a focus groups and we have discussions amidst them and collect things. Another is surveys and questionnaires, observations. I have given a job task analysis. Let me see. Please let me know if you're able to see, because are you able to see the job task
Yes,
analysis?
yes.
Okay, wonderful.
We can see your screen. Yes.
Now, this is a complex job task analysis template that I have embedded. This is not just job task analysis template, it is job task analysis and a performance data analysis. It's a combined template. So here, if you see, we are talking about key responsibilities, skills required, and knowledge required. So this analysis, again, there are various ways of getting it. You can do interviews, you can do survey forms, you can do.
We can't see on the screen, no, Madhuri?
Yeah,
We can't see it on the
you can't see on the screen.
Madam,
I think I think
we
you are,
can't see the
I think
Excel sheet.
Are you able to see the Excel
I think
sheet?
this
No,
the
no, no.
PPT has not moved.
You will have
Okay.
to,
We are on.
you'll have to stop the presentation and share
Yes,
the.
that's what I said, that I was not able to share the entire screen. Okay, give me a minute. I will stop my screen and try to present it again on the. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm stopping the share and I will share it again. I can give that link also to all of you, so that's not a problem. Later on, I will share that link. Also, maybe later on, I will send some reference materials as well. Just give me a minute. I don't know why that option of sharing everything is not coming, but I will share it like this, and I'll go back to PPT again. Just give me a minute. Control. Okay. I think I have selected. Are you able to see now? Are you able to
Yes, yes,
Yes, we
yes,
can see
very
the
much.
Excel
Yes,
now. Yes.
yes, very much.
So then this is a job analysis template plus a performance data and template. Now, how we do it? We can have the major thing is job description analysis. We all have JDs. We analyze that. We check the existing skills around it, and then there is an additional things I like to do, which I did in my previous organization, where you also interview focus. Another thing that you do is, I had created, it's just that I can't show that skill map and competency framework that I had created for my team, because it's the property of some other organization, but I can tell you the process. Another thing that we did was, which was for skill gap analysis, creating a survey form and doing a self-assessment and a manager assessment. So here, the job description review looks simple, like key responsibilities, skill required, and knowledge required. For example, if I have to write, what is the key responsibility? Write learning objectives. What is the skill required? Thorough understanding, what is the skill required to write smart, measurable, ability to write smart, measurable objectives? What is the knowledge required? Let's say one example is thorough knowledge about Bloom's taxonomy and the action verbs for different levels of cognition. And then this was simple. And then there is a performance data review. I mean, you all know what is performance data review. We actually define, so this is a combination of job task analysis and performance data review. We actually set the performance matrix. Again, it can come from performance management team, it can come from the HR team, and then current averages. That for a particular skill, what is the current average of this, and what is the target goal? So because I have an example for which this has been created, so that's why it's saying target for new hires. So basically, if I have to hire a new person, what is the performance metrics that they have to share? And then skill gap analysis. One of the method that I had used for skill gap analysis was I had created a survey form. There were 12 skills for the entire instructional design team, right from a grad hire to an experienced learning experience architect. And there were three domains. One was the core instructional design skill. Another was the technology, graphic design and technology skill. And third was future skill, which involved, frameworks and AI and other things, and business acumen, intangible things as well, a consultative approach. And then uh, what I did was I created a survey form, which I rolled out to the team where they had to do a self-assessment. And then that survey form was, taken into an Excel. And then what I did was, I just can't show that example because it was done for some other company, the proprietary of other company. Then there was a column added for manager assessment, okay, supervisor assessment. And there was already a sheet that was prepared which had expected skill level. Like if a grad hire needs to know storyboarding, what is the rate? I had given a rating one on the scale of 1 to 5. What is the expected rating? And if a senior person has to do it, what are the expected ratings across all the skills? So each of the skills were further like storyboarding for level 1, storyboarding for level 2, storyboarding for gamification, storyboarding for scenario based learning, all that was purposely distributed. And then what are the expertise level? Now, if anybody falls below the expected criteria in the supervisor rating, that means there is a gap, and that was marked, and then that was aligned toward training. And then training was a mix of things: classroom training, coaching, or probably, let's say, if it is related to review and quality, then some reference materials, quality standard. Okay. So, skill gap analysis. Yes, somebody is saying something. Okay. And then here, so this is a consolidated list where we are actually putting down the findings of not just job task, and a job description is just this. Okay, simple. This is the responsibility, this is the skill required, and this is the knowledge required. Okay. And then we are setting the target. And then choice. Yes, somebody is saying something.
Now, have you essentially gone through a competency mapping process
Yes. For my
and
team.
also identify?
Yeah, from my earlier organization, I had created an entire competency framework and skill gap analysis framework, skill matrix, which had a. It's just that I can't show it because it is that company's proprietary. That's why I explained you how I did. Okay.
No, I can see the process, and you have also developed a, development plan post conducting a development center for these people.
Yes.
Okay.
As a center of excellence for instructional design.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
So I'll just quickly show this template. If you want, I can show it to send it to you later. Okay, this is a simple template. Now this template doesn't have a job description review, but it also has the findings from other reviews. Like as I said, skill gap analysis. It will be done in a different way, but probably you can write the findings here just to have a consolidated sheet. And training needs, the TNA that we do. Again, you can put it in one sheet. Okay. Going back to the PowerPoint. Yeah. And then we have the review existing data. I will just quickly go to Addy because I want to show you something. And we are really coming close to the end. Now here, the analysis.
Madam, sorry to interrupt you. Your session is very interesting. That's why I'm prompted to ask you one more question. This,
Yes.
besides training need assessment, did you have any other option for a development plan of employees?
So there are various methods that we can use, not just training assessment. One is the skill gap analysis that we did. Another we did was learner profiling. We actually profiled our learners in different groups. Let's say, for example, there were grad hires. So we did a mix of things. And then we also defined what should be the success criteria for our team. Like, where is it that we want them to be after 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months, or after a year? for the business goal. There was a 5-year summit that was, decided. So how we are taking them over there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And then here again, I had talked about, so what this is here, I'm talking about the output. Analysis stage, what should be the output? The reports of all the analysis that we did. And that report should clearly mention, these are just key pointers: business needs, learner profiles, success criteria, learning outcomes or objectives. I'm a big fan of learning outcomes, because outcomes helps us to define objectives properly. Many a times people focus only on objectives, but objective is like getting an output, but outcome is like getting a result, an impact. And then again, design. I will quickly go through this slide. Learning strategy again. I have mentioned a learning strategy here, and at the bottom you will see it's overlapping. Okay, and I'll explain why. Now, design, if even the learning strategy process starts in the analysis phase with analysis to the analytic finding, but actually it ends at the start, somewhere in the design phase. And that learning strategy is a precursor to the rest of the. There is a design document that we create, which is a precursor to storyboard. And design document has, it can be as simple as you have a MLTP structure, module, lesson, topic, page structure, where you are putting the course structure, creating an outline for every module or every lesson. You're writing the learning objectives, and then you are writing where what content will be created over there. And then you are saying instructional strategy, where I'm saying what would be the approach of teaching that content, or what would be the approach for the assessment that we are going to have. When are we going to have the assessment? Is it in between the topics after a certain gap, or is it after each lesson within the module? So all those things are listed. And then here again, you see storyboard, because as I earlier said, storyboard is an overlapping thing, design and development. Then then we go to the development, where we have course material, assessment tools, performance support. Performance support tools is nothing but job aids, quick reference guides, sometimes simulations, any additional aid that can support learning. If you're using a LXP like a degree, we had created a learning path for a company where there was the main e-learning that they had, virtual sessions that they had, coaching sessions that they listed in the learning path. And they also use, because it's an NXP, external material like research papers, authentic YouTube links as an added support. And then they also had, we also had included uh, quick reference guides, job aids, or any video that was giving a demo of a process within the learning path outside the actual e-learning. This is how performance tool can be placed in learning curriculum. And then technical specifications, whether it's for authoring tools, whether it's for upload on the LMS, LXP. So all that is decided in the development phase. Now you see a prototyping. Before we develop all the material, we take a small test and do the testing. So when I said, there are overlapping things, we pick this from other models, where we are doing an iterative thing over here for prototyping. That is, we build a prototype, we give it for testing. Either we can have super user groups at the client end. There is a super user group internally. If we are a service provider, there is a super user group at the client end. We gave them for testing. They test it. Testing happens for the content, for the design, for the functionality, and it also happens for the upload on the LMS if it is e-learning. It can, if it is a VILT or a ILT, that is instructor-led training, there also we can do testing in a different way, okay, that for the material. And then everybody discusses, gives their feedback, we review. Mainly, we don't keep review. We usually set a boundary of 3 review cycles. That once the changes are done, we send it for review. And that iterative process finalizes all the specifications, like what kind of, how we are going to write the content, how we are going to have the visuals, what kind of functionalities are there after the feedback. And based on that feedback, the entire training curriculum is built. So now the curriculum has all the analysis, that we did is taken care of in the design, in the content that we created, or in the training that we created, or the learning material that we created. And it also has the continuous loop of feedback from the super user group, which has different roles. It can have stakeholders, subject matter experts, some of the learners. So all of them, and also some of the sponsors, somebody who has sponsored some additional sponsors as well. And all of them have collectively, so it's a collaborative effort to strengthen the material. And then the development phase gives content. And it again goes in implementation. There is a course launch or training delivery. We spoke about it, and learner support, because we always have to give a learner support, whether it's technology or whether it's classroom delivery. That also is a part of implementation. For that also, everything needs to be listed in the plan that we created earlier. And then change management plan implementation, like sending the right communication, sending the right emails of the launch of the program, sending the communication on the expectations, resolving the queries on any doubts that people raise. Then any resistance is there, that is a risk, having a mitigation plan for it. My usual method of keeping the resistance at in check is involving that person into the process, or that group into the process. And then the evaluation is evaluation report with respect to the success criteria and of course, it includes the lessons learned. If we have not met the evaluation, the lessons learned and recommendations. What is it that we need to do to improve next time? Especially it helps a lot if you are an internal L&D team. You always have a chance, hey, we did this entire program, but it didn't give us a result expected. As we had a case where they said that, okay, we did everything, but the success criteria doesn't get met, because there is always a battle between who moved the cheese or who brought the success in the company. So in that case, there are always recommendations or reflections. What is it that needs to be done if in the next cycle? Okay. There's a case study. I will send the document. I'll quickly explain. So there is an e-learning company who wants to double the learning experience design team, and they have hired new hires, and then they want to the expectation from the new hires is they should be production ready within a month of joining. New hires need to learn the company processes, on operational processes, how the course e-learning courses are built, developing online content, what are the quality standards, and become proficient with the authoring and multimedia design tools that are used within that company. And they need to understand the needs, and also they need to build that business acumen to understand different learners, organization, internal and external stakeholders. If it is external, that means client. And then become part of their ongoing learning culture focused on continuous growth. Because the company, since it's an e-learning company, they are constantly evolving, they are constantly upgrading, they are constantly including new technology here, like AI is there. Maybe they have a LMS platform now, but maybe tomorrow, within a year, they will have LMS platform integrated with the AI analytics. So in between, I'm also talking about the role of AI analytics to strengthen their reporting. Okay, so this is their need. Now, I'm quickly going to learner profile. Here is a questionnaire again. I will give the link for this. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not. I think you're not able to see it, right? And we are running out of time. Uday sir is there? Or the participants? Are you okay to extend this by some more time? If it is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And thank you for
Okay.
that. Thank you for that. Okay. I think you're not able to see this, so I will. Are you able to see
We
the
can see
survey?
this.
Survey form? Okay.
Yes, yes. Yes,
Okay.
we can.
So I created a demo survey form specially for this session, for this particular case study, because as I said, my previous organization work, and we are building something actually, and this is part of it. So basically, it's learner profile survey. If you see, it's a full name, you know, age, you can write anything, maybe. Okay. Then you have educational highest qualification. I'm just, showing you a couple of things, how a learning form is. So this is how the entries are made. And instructional design certification, let's say yes. Graphic design, and you can also name the certifications, maybe no. Authoring tool, maybe yes. Then any other relevant certification, you say no. Here you name the certifications. And then total experience in this previous job experience, we can actually write the last role. Okay. And then you go next. So here what you see is one parameter, that is background information. So we talk about, and why I'm asking the learner for this particular case to enter the name, because in our strategy, we are also going to have coaching sessions, one-on-one. We want to personalize, because it's not a very big e-learning company. And we want to leverage the benefit of personalizing the entire learning experience. And that's why there is mentorship program, coaching program. And if in this entire learner profiling, we are able to know by the person's name, their preferences, okay, then it's easier for us to, personalize. Some things will be common and some things can be personalized in one-on-one coaching, I'm sorry. And then this is the background. Next, I will not fill this, technical skills. So one is the background, which covers the demographics, education, age, etc. Another is the technical skills assessment. Technical skills assessment for instructional design models, ADDIE, SAM, and all these things I have listed. Experience, and I'll give this link to you all. You can download it because it's on my drive, but you can download it and keep it with you. This is a quickly put together list for you. Then application level experience with instructional design models. So these are all the models, key models that are listed. They can select it, they can add, and then you have experience writing e-learning storyboard, the thing which I was telling last time. How many types of storyboards are there? So, suppose somebody wants to write AR, VR, they can. Then comes authoring tool proficiency, articulate storyline, they have to read this. And then other tools. And the next is professional development and career growth. Why? What is it there? What is the career goal in the field of e-learning, in the industry? What motivated them to join the company? Their expectation from the company. This is again, a subjective answer, because we don't want to restrict them to yes and no. We want them to pour their heart out. That is where the empathy, emotional connect will come in limited form, but it will. And then learning style preferences. This I always keep it at low, especially the auditory, visual, you will see it's not written like that, because the learning design that we do at the moment involves a lot of things. Involves emotions, involves left brain, right brain functioning, involves auditory, visual, kinesthetic. It involves other elements like other needs. Like I explained, emotional need is there, subconscious biases or no biases. So we try to touch upon it. It's difficult to touch the subconscious mind, but at least some part can be touched, especially if there is one-on-one coaching. And then their preferences, and there is again an open-end thing where they can act. And then how often you would like to receive feedback. Not everybody likes everybody breathing down their neck and giving them everyday feedback. No, because there's an onboarding program. So we are giving them a choice. Yes. Somebody is saying something. Okay, I'll quickly go ahead. And then there is interpersonal and cultural fit. It's an onboarding program. These people are just starting their journey. And that's why this little piece, we don't want to bog them down with the cultural and interpersonal skills, but at least a little bit that is needed for somebody who's a new hire, so that we can match to their requirement in the onboarding program. So describe your past experience working with the team and collaborating with cross-functional teams. They can write their examples. It's a free answer for them. Making sense out of it is the job of the learning experience designer or the team who's going to create onboarding. Then rate your communication skills. So this is basically on interpersonal skills. Describe your past experience managing or interacting with stakeholders. Basically, again, if they haven't done it, they are 0 to 1 year experience. They have never done it. They can just say any. Last is support needs and what is it that they want us to support? Are there any areas where you feel you need more development? Some person may say, it can be behavioral or it can be a technical skill, but they are free to write it. Again, there is no yes, no answer or objective answer is not involved. We want to keep it open-ended so that they are free to write what they want and they are not restricted in, those couple of options that they have. But if you see the next question, it is, multiple choice because we have some options for them. We want them to select what type of support do you find most helpful. Like in case if you need support, what is it? What is the method that you would want? Okay, prefer. So if they say knowledge repository, then we have to ensure if there are a lot of learners who say knowledge repository, we want to have to ensure that there is a central location with all the reference material, learning material for their quick reference guides, which they can quickly refer while working on the job. Okay. Sorry. I just lost it. And then additional feedback, and then we submit. Was this helpful? Was this helpful?
Yeah, quite exhaustive. It is able, you are able to identify the gaps quite well.
And you can see if this is accessible. And one more thing about this, there are a lot of tools, analytical tools, which will help you to create service. This I created on OneDrive forms. But there are AI-driven tools also where you can create the forms, which at the back end has very good analytics, and that will actually give you reports for all the learners from where you can extract the information. Okay.
Right. Madhuri, thank you so much. I think it's way beyond the hour. Thank you, audience, for the attention that you paid. I am officiating for the chairman who asked me to just do the closing.
No, that's
honors.
okay. I had told them that we are running out of time, but it was, what I will do is I will be sharing some material with you. I had created a Brandon Hall level strategy, which I will give that template to you, like what all segments are there, and I will send one YouTube link, which is a content that we have created, which will give you an idea like how a particular content can look. If we are using visuals and explainer video style content, is generic audience, no learner profiling because it's a YouTube channel that we run, but you'll get an idea about the content. Okay.
Okay, great. For the understanding of the people who are attending, we will download the recording and it will be available on the ISV YouTube. Okay, but I don't know the confusion. I don't know whether we're going to get the whole thing recorded and all that, but hopefully you should get them. Thank you, Madhuri, for taking time for giving this presentation on effective learning experience. I hope people have gained from the knowledge. We look forward to having you on our platform every week and every fortnight. Just for the information, next week we are having a paid program by Yatin. And those of you who are not registered, you can call upon to register as quick as possible. It's a paid program, obviously. So let me just give some details for you. Give me a minute. It was not my this thing, so I'm just little okay. So it's a paid program. It's for all the people who are trainers, HR professionals, consultants, coaches, facilitator, etc. Yatin is a CPF master, and he will be taking us through to understand what is facilitation skill, what are the processes, various applications of facilitation. It's a paid program, $999 plus 18% GST. The links are available. If it's not there, please put it in our WhatsApp group. Those who are there, or you can then directly contact the secretary at mumbaichapter@gmail.com and ask for the details. So it's next Saturday. So those of you who have not enrolled, are welcome to do so. So thank you so much, everyone, and good night.
If you allow us,
Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.